Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. Today's story, it's one of those what-ifs that sits in the back of your brain like a bad dream. What if the world below a certain altitude was off limits to humanity? Not because of war, not because of radiation, but because something down there is killing us. And we have no idea what it is or why it stops at exactly 8,000 feet. I'm serious. It's a horror story that blends survival, science fiction, and deep psychological dread. Let's talk about the altitude line of death. So here's the setup. The world was overrun in days, not by zombies, not by nuclear war, but by creatures, or maybe machines, that appeared everywhere. Cities, highways, towns, wiped out in hours. Humanity retreated to one place, the mountaintops, specifically anywhere above 8,000 feet. And here's the thing, the monsters never follow. Like clockwork, they chase you right to the altitude line, then stop. Dead, silent, and no one knows why. Now, imagine this. You're living in a small community in the Rockies, surviving on potatoes and fish, breathing through an oxygen machine every night, because your lungs were never built for this thin air. That's Hunter, a kid who's trapped by altitude. He climbs to the edge sometimes, just to look at another settlement on a neighboring peak. One day, something sees him. Something glowing, something following. It chases him, full sprint, until he crosses the invisible line. Then it just stops. And that's when the questions begin. What are they? Why do they obey the altitude like it's a rule? And most disturbing of all, who made that rule? Hunter's dad, Will, knows the truth. They're running out of medical filters. No filters? His son dies, so he makes a decision. A bad one. A desperate one. He's going down the mountain, into Boulder, into the belly of the beast. But he's not going alone. Joining him is Na, a brilliant, haunted scientist who once ventured into the lowlands and came back alive. But not everyone did, including Will's wife. So yeah, tensions are high. Grief, regret, rage. You can feel it radiating off every word they exchange. Let's talk about the monsters. They're fast, unstoppable, silent until they strike. But there's a catch. They don't eat. They don't even bleed. They're not hunting for food. They're exterminating. Animals? Ignored. But humans? Annihilated. And here's the kicker. They're machines. Mechanical under the flesh. Robotic precision. Designed to eradicate only us. So, who made them? Aliens? AI? A military project turned rogue? Or was it us? Did we design our own apocalypse? Let's circle back to this 8,000-foot thing. Why stop there? Why that number? A few theories. Their electromagnetic systems fail above a certain pressure. Their power source can't sustain operation in thin air. Or, and this one chills me, it's programming. They're told to stop there. A literal do not enter in their code, which raises a terrifying possibility. Maybe those mountaintops aren't our refuge. Maybe they're quarantine zones. But here's where the script flips. Nah, the guilt-ridden scientist develops something new. A bullet that could disrupt their field. Cobalt-coated, engineered to short-circuit them. And it works. One shot, one explosion. And for the first time since this all began, a monster dies. But what's inside? Not guts, not bone, wires, circuits. Alien tech. Maybe human tech. Maybe worse. They were never living creatures. They were tools. And tools always serve a purpose. So now we know. These things are machines. They only target humans. They stop at 8,000 feet. And they can be killed. So the question becomes, what happens when we fight back? The survivors start arming themselves with the new bullets, raising flags to signal hope. For the first time in years, humanity is not just hiding, we're hunting. But as the final shot pans over the mountains, one of the dead monsters stirs. Still alive, still watching, and maybe, just maybe, learning. Here's what makes this story truly horrifying. It's not just the monsters. It's the silence, the helplessness, the fact that the world below 8,000 feet isn't ours anymore. It belongs to something else now. Something that doesn't sleep, doesn't feed, and doesn't stop. We're not fighting predators. We're fighting a protocol. And that, my friends, is a horror far worse than any jump scare. So what do you think? Are these machines alien, human-made, or something older? Why do they stop at 8,000 feet? And would you ever dare to cross the line? Let me know in the comments. If this creeped you out as much as it did me, hit that like button, subscribe for more horrifying fiction deep dives, and ring that bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Until then, stay above the line, because down there, they're waiting.